Kashe hisbar lohem min haTorah ki hui mazir al inyoni hamitzvos. When it's been confirmed from the Torah that he enjoins us to fulfill mitzvahs. I don't enjoin mazir. He commands us. He forewarns us. Umitzava al b'chiras avodas haborei. And he commands us to choose to serve the Creator. Umrashul mi b'chiras hatainugim hagufaniyim. Says, and he discourages us from desiring physical delights and warns against them. People who have this mindset, they're in a position, they've made a choice to be in a position, meaning they yearn for him. He says they long for him in their hearts and in their innards. And they cease to long for the world and all its desires and its attractions. And they wait for his assistance, and they hope for his assistance to establish, to bring to fruition their mindset regarding his service. To be able to complete the action, what they chose regarding his mitzvos. I'll give you an example. The Yisod V'Shosh writes that, I want to mention, Yisod V'Shosh, his name was Rabbi Alexander Ziskin, Zichron Livrocha. The Vilna Gaon, when he saw the work he put out, even the Vilna Gaon said he's a chassid. And the Vilna Gaon was a misnagitz. He's not talking about the Hasidic movement. He says the man is a chassid. When they burnt the Avram ben Avram, he yearned to witness such a Kiddush Hashem. It was a phenomenal Kiddush Hashem. The man was burnt at the stake, and he said, Shema Yisrael. He wanted to witness and to hear him declaring Shema Yisrael Hashem Hashem Echad. You know what level of danger that is. Any Jew, he shaved his beard or he concealed his beard, dressed like a peasant, Gentile, to be able to witness this Kiddush Hashem. So the Shosh Avoda. So Shosh Avoda, before he would do a mitzvah, anytime, he would say a tefillah that he should not be interrupted at any level. That he would always say a tefillah before. Because it's inevitable, whenever you do a mitzvah, especially when you want to do it on a special level, there's some degree of interference. There's interference immediately. You sit down to bench. You're about to say Havdalah. Start out, all of a sudden the phone starts ringing. It's inevitable. Benching. Somebody rings the doorbell. Somebody's there to see you. It's inevitable. Why then? The answer is, exactly, there's always level of interference. He would always say a tefillah before he do any mitzvah that Hashem should allow him to bring the mitzvah to fruition without any degree of distraction. But look, I'm doing my best. The question is, a person prays for a deal to happen. Right? What do you pray for the deal? For the deal, you pray. Because it's going to make a difference in your life. So the question, do you pray for other things in the spiritual realm? That's the question. He did. He witnessed it. He witnessed it. It's cited in certain svarim. He was sent by the Vilna Gaon because they didn't allow. They had the ashes strewn all over the street, and the Franciscan order would not. They wanted him to be in disgrace, that nobody should ever consider doing what he did. He was the Prince of Poland, this person. And the Vilna Gaon told him, gave him a guarantee that he will not be harmed. He should gather the ashes and bury them in the Vilna cemetery. He was right next to his own where he was buried. He was buried right next to him. The Ger, Avram ben Avram. The Vilna Gaon told him that he could save his life if he's interested. That he could take him out of there, not a problem. Wasn't interested. He says he feels he wants to die al Kiddush Hashem, to bring about this great accomplishment. I mean, you can live. Why should you die? Reb Kiva, right? His students were crying, and he was ecstatic. So he said to them, why are you crying? I've waited this moment my whole life to serve, to demonstrate my love for Hashem with my life. Who? No. No descendants. Look, Kiddush Hashem is in its own right. Let's say there are no Jews around. They tell you, do idolatry, we're going to put you to death. Giving your life for God, that's Kiddush Hashem. This Kiddush Hashem b'rabbim. There's a public sanctification and just sanctifying Hashem's name. That was not a public setting. No, it's irrelevant. They were 100%. No. But the reality is a Kiddush. The man is sanctifying God's name in the presence of these Gentiles, regardless of what they believe or understand. Correct. I mentioned to you what happened. The Franciscan monks, as they were torching, they were lighting the fuel. So they realized he's a very special person. And ultimately, when they come on the day of reckoning, they're going to be found, they're going to be found guilty for this. So they said to him, we realize, this, that. They tried to somehow justify the behavior. And when it comes, he shouldn't come to prosecute. He shouldn't be one of the prosecuting witnesses against him. You understand? They're burning him to death, but they're asking him that he shouldn't be the one to prosecute them when they arrive wherever they arrive. So he said to them, he says, you people, what you remind me of, he was a prince when he was a little boy. He had friends, and his friends, which were commoners, they beat him up and they threw him into the mud. Eventually, the prince became the king. 30, 40 years later, the king was coming through the city with his personal guard, with soldiers. They were actually trembling because the king would remember what they did to him as a child. They beat him up and threw him in the mud. He's going to put them to death now, right? They were out of his radar for 30, 40 years. So he notices them from a distance, and he calls them over. And they're so frightened they can't even speak. So he says, what are you frightened? He says, I'm concerned that you can take revenge. When we were children, what we did to you. He started to laugh. He says, do you think I even have time to even think about something which has so little value? When we were children, it's all meaningless. It's meaningless what happened then. Today I'm at a different level. I don't even have time to think about that. He says, where I'm going to be at, you think I'm even going to waste time even think about you people? The level of worthlessness that you people have, I wouldn't even consider even wasting a moment with you people. That's what he told him. It's interesting what he's saying over here. A person who's Avos Hashem, who wants to upgrade, right? If a person, we speak of this kind of person, you're always looking to do it better, right? You're always looking to do it better. But if you're not at this level, you stagnate. I'm okay. We speak about mediocrity. Mediocrity within spirituality. That's what we're talking about over here, right? The average person who strives to do better, right? Unless you're really motivated, who's motivated to do a mitzvah better? If I know I'm doing something wrong, I don't want to do something wrong. But if I'm doing something right, even though it's not the ultimate level of perfection, it's okay. So who is never satisfied is right as it is, because you can always do it better. A person is Avos Hashem, he's yearning to do things and to serve Hashem to his best ability. I mean, the barbarism. It shows that picture of decapitation.
in the name of God. I mean, they perform the act. They're performing the act in the name of God.
They can say what they want. They're barbarians. These people are barbarians.
Now,
And why do they rape the women before they decapitate them? That's also the name of God.
but
They can say what they want.
anybody who gives his or her life, oh, Kiddush Hashem, I'm not going to convert, I'm not going to do this, whatever it is that they're asking for. It's a Kiddush Hashem. We say it's a Kiddush Hashem.
If you do it for the right reason.
Do it for the right reason. Yeah, it's a Kiddush Hashem. But the way it comes out in that society, it's a tremendous disgrace to human dignity, to the human condition.
Of course. The Rav tells, his name was Reb Bloch. The Blochs were sons-in-law by Reb Lazer Gordon, was the tells a Rav and tells a Rosh Hashiva and tells. And when the Nazis came to tells they buried him alive. They took the Rav of Telz and they buried him alive. The Rav of Slabotka, they decapitated his head, and they put his head on there was a spike, and they put his head on the spike. That's what the Nazis did to the Rav of Slabotka. Okay? So you don't have to be ISIS to do this. There's Nazis. There's Nazi behavior. So, I mean, there's no question. He was killed, al Kiddush Hashem. With that, the disgracing him? I mean, once he's dead, there's no Kiddush Hashem anymore. Now it's just desecration of the body. Just shows, that just makes them more culpable. The hate for Jews was so bad. Whatever way they could disgrace them, they would disgrace them. There's a story, you read some of these stories, which you heard.
I was going to say, to them, they're interviewing the children of these people.
Of the murder victims, of the ISIS.
And the children are saying, yes, that's what I want to be when I grow up.
To be a barbarian.
This is what I want to do, and I want to go after these infidels and the Americans, and on and on and on. So, you know, when you look at this as an objective thing, you say, where's the Kiddush Hashem? It's such a disgrace, the whole thing.
Of course. Le Sodom believed they were doing the right thing too. No, nobody could believe he's evil. You can't exist if you believe you're evil, right? You have to find rationalize that what I am, I'm doing a service to humanity, whatever it is. But Sodom were wrong. They were evil between man and man, God. God says, there's a famous question which is asked by Rav Elchanan. Yechezkel Hanavi says, why did God destroy Sodom? Because they did not extend their hand to the poor. So Rav Elchanan asked, but tzedakah is not one of the Shem mitzvahs of Noach. It's not one of the 7 Noahide laws. So why? But Yechezkel says, Hanavi, the reason why they were destroyed, because they did not extend their hand to the poor. He explains that there is obligation and there's the fabric of humanity. A human being who's gone to a level where he doesn't have a sense for his fellow human being to extend a piece of bread to a person who's starving to death, that's not a human. God says, that's not what I meant. That's not what I intended to be. This is a personification of evil. I will not tolerate it. So it goes beyond the obligation. This is just the basic element of a human being. These people are lacking in the basic element of what a human being is supposed to be. They're barbarians. They're worse than barbarians. This is what I hate. An animal kills. It kills because of whatever it kills. This is with a hate and with a whole objective to be continued. It's only because there's no alternative. There's a Mesillas Yesharim, Shalom says, the heart, God created a human being. The heart has to love. Love is the heart. You have to love. There's no such thing. The heart cannot be devoid of love. Either you love material or you love spiritual. It can't be neither. So if you fill the heart with love for spiritual, then you don't need the material. But if you don't have the spiritual in that vacuum, then you have material. That's the Mesillas Yesharim. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, there's no question. But I'm saying a person who's truly, his heart is fully permeated with love for Hashem. The value of the material is only to facilitate the spiritual. But it's not the material for the material. That's it. Look, they killed the Jews throughout the Middle Ages. They slaughtered them like cattle. For what reason? For theocide, because they said the Jews killed their god. Because Chai Kol Neshama finished. Well, we mutilated it. Yeah, because they were mutilated. That's what God said. Yeah, but He told them to kill. Directive. We have directive.
They said to us to kill all member of the children of this group. We would say that's fine.
That exactly.
But what they're doing, the killing is one thing. Mutilating them and
Can I ask you a question? You know what you're asking me? Let's say there's such a thing as capital punishment. A man kills 100 people, and the verdict is he has to be put to death. Well, if the court could put this man to death, so why can't I go shoot people on the street? That's what you're asking me.
I'm not asking that. I'm asking that.
If God says kill out this particular people, so what about ISIS? What does one thing have to do with another?